for having me, mate. It's
No worries. Thanks for being here.
such an honour to be in the room where it happens. So yes, for those who will be watching but don't know who you are, who are you? And and what do you do? And what's your mission in life?
So, my name's Luca Mo, and I am a music artist, singer, songwriter, producer, creator, I guess. And what's my mission in life? Um, I would say it's to uplift people and connect to people through primarily music, and just creativity, and hopefully impact people in a positive way.
Oh yeah, man. Well, look, I mean, I've known you for quite a while now.
Yeah, it's true.
And I say, so far, so good. You are smashing it.
Thanks.
So
I appreciate it.
yeah, no, honestly, like anyone who's listening, Luca Mo, please go check him out. His music's amazing, super talented, amazing live. It's no end to your talents, I don't think. But what's like the latest? What's going on?
Yeah, so I did this show in November, and it was kind of like a launch show for this album that I've been working on for the last 3 years. And that kind of triggered me to essentially write like a second half of the album. So I kind of thought the album was done and half of it was released.
Yeah.
And then I kind of realized that there was this whole other kind of side of the story. So it's continuing this year. I'm releasing another load of songs, and the full album will be out in the summer. We're going to do a similar kind of big show for everybody once the whole project is fully released. And so that's really what I'm working towards. And then, like I said, I'm moving studio pretty soon, so planning things for that as well. And yeah, just getting in some exciting shows and stuff for the year ahead, whilst still kind of staying focused on finishing the music, because I think that's really the most important thing for me at the moment.
Yeah, wicked. I mean, what would you say the kind of topical theme of the album is? What kind of stuff do you write about?
Yeah, so I think that the theme is, so what I write about is just my life. So it's all just to do with my existence since leaving school when I was 18, and kind of grappling with all of the challenges of being a adult, and suddenly you're kind of thrown into life and having to work out all the stuff that you don't necessarily learn at school. You can only really learn through doing life.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, most of it's about that. I think the kind of overall topic of the album is trying to understand like right and wrong, and kind of looking at ideas of like morality. I won't reveal the title, the full length title.
Yeah, sure.
It's close to being. I'm almost fully decided on it.
Well, stealing probably. keep it for now
until it's trademarked, and then we're safe. No,
yeah.
Maybe I probably should trademark it actually. But yes, anyway, it is essentially about that, and about sort of my own struggles with the kind of nuances of that, like within a relationship, within love. How do you understand what is right and wrong? Obviously, certain things are very clear. Like, if I was to punch you in the face, that would be wrong.
Yeah,
I would never do that. I've never punched anyone in the face. But yeah, I think that there's more nuanced things, more subtle things, where it's like, one person might think one thing, one person might think another thing, within love, within life. And so I think it's really the journey of coming back to myself in a way. And kind of, I went through some pretty crazy things in my late teens, kind of went through some challenges, and I think that I maybe felt like I kind of lost myself a little bit in some ways,
Mm-hmm.
kind of lost my confidence as well, and people would, you know, my friends would kind of say this to me. It was kind of a real thing now, and it's weird how, you know, when you look back at those moments and you kind of realize the extent, but sometimes when you're in them you don't necessarily see it. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like this album is me kind of through the process of creating it, and also what the songs are about, coming back to myself, kind of discovering how within the world as it is, you know, this huge thing that we're in, how can I still have value and still exist, and,
Sure,
you
sure.
know, like enjoy life as well, because we've got to enjoy it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, what do you think made you lose some of your confidence though? Because when I see you like perform, all that kind of stuff kind of peels away, and you seem like it's your life force, like doing music. And
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think that you definitely come across like you're confident in your ability. So what do you think shook you a bit?
Yeah, well, I think that's actually a really, and I appreciate you saying that, man. Thank you. I think that that was maybe something that did bother me a little bit a couple of years ago, was that I felt like on, I mean, it sounds like such a kind of, you know, like prima donna problem to have, but
Right.
I would feel like when I would perform to people, I was able to, have that confidence and be that kind of person. And then I felt like when I would then come off stage or out of a performance, I would feel like there was a real disconnect. And so I was like, am I an introvert? Am I an extrovert? Am I confident? Am I anxious? Am I what? I was trying to like define myself, and I just didn't really understand. And
Yeah.
it felt like, in a way, I think what led to kind of a bit of a mental breakdown that then became a breakthrough for me was like feeling like I'm just, I I I feel like I'm not either one or the other, and I felt like I had to put myself in this box. And maybe what led to that was, I think there were a couple of things. I think that leaving school was a challenge, because at school it's kind of like a bubble, and you have your friendship groups, and everyone knew who I was, and I was able to kind of be this character. And I was quite a kind of big character, I guess, at school.
Yeah, yeah,
um I was also quite introverted. You know, I would come home and I would just be in here basically making music and being very introspective. But I think that then I left school, and suddenly all those friendship groups disperse.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I remember going to visit my friend at uni, and I remember just being sat around this table, and everyone was having this conversation, and I just felt so like, it was like one of the first times I've been like, I don't even know how to be. Like, I felt like socially anxious, which
yeah,
I'd never
man.
really experienced before.
Right.
And it was really weird. It was like, wait, I thought I was this, um, this big, bold character person, and it's like the identity, the story that you have in your head, then not matching
Sure,
with the
sure.
reality that you're seeing or how you're expressing. And then you enter this kind of like fight with yourself, where it's like, why can't I just be confident? I just want to be fucking, this thing. And then
Yeah.
it becomes even harder. And I think that then maybe led me to start to look for other ways to find that kind of fulfillment in myself, with, kind of mentioned to you before, with certain like substances and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And, thinking going out and getting really drunk and other things would be the answer to kind of find that.
Right,
um
right.
and it took me basically just reaching a tipping point where I was like, this is just too much now. I have
It's
to.
not
Yeah.
sustainable.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we both had our experiences, I guess, with addiction and kind of, you don't, like they say, you don't become an addict like overnight. It
No.
kind of develops, and it's all fun and
Yeah.
games in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that's worth mentioning as well is that I used to think that I was closer to that sense of connection with like a divine thing, like when on
Yeah.
substances.
Yeah.
And um like I enjoyed what like my thought patterns were and what I could felt like I could
Yeah.
access. But
Yeah.
I've got to be honest, I feel closer to that more than ever when I'm now not doing those things. It's taken a while to kind of realize it. because the essential like connection you have with it and the relationship you have with it makes you feel like you need something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a funny one, man. Like I feel now clearer and more connected emotionally without anything.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like I'm kicking myself because I'm like, oh, that's weird, because I was born without and taking any of those things. I guess I was designed to just be me. But it's taken a while to realize that. But yeah,
it is a journey. I think that I feel the same, and I think that what you have to realize is that those experiences on things are giving you this kind of, it's still an experience. I think every experience is valuable, and I think that certain people can be fine with, going out and drinking loads or whatever, and I think that it's okay. I think that if you're the kind of person who it feels things quite deeply, I think it can be a problem, because you start to feel, you're very aware of this amazing thing that you were kind of describing, these incredible thought patterns and experiences, and it just feels life so great and amazing.
yeah.
But then you also experience, the other side, which is quite deep sadness and, all of those things too.
Yeah.
And so you kind of, anything that's going to be a quick fix to try and get out of that can be quite appealing to a certain kind of person. And I think that for me, that's what it was. It was like, I feel depressed. I know what I can do. I can do this. Or, I feel, and I think that just, it creates a kind of friction within yourself, where also you're not able to fully address the thing. And I think that, what you said is true. I feel definitely the same way. I feel like, from stepping away from all of that, I mean, I'm now fully, I don't really do any of that kind of the rock star stuff now.
What do you find? What do you think about, like, when you actually writing music and creating music though? Do you find that, like, I find I write my best stuff when when I'm not high.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I was terrible. I couldn't write anything good. It was awful. It was actually embarrassing. I've only tried it a couple of times. It was like, this is awful. Like,
you thought it was good at the time. Like, maybe
just about. I don't even think I did though. I think I was like aware, because I'm very, like, my nervous system as well is very sensitive, so I don't need much for me to just be like
right
just totally unhinged.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I just remember sometimes being like, oh yeah, this is a sick tune, and then listening to it the next day when you're not in the same state of mind, and you're like, oh, this is awful. Or it's just you don't even understand it.
Yeah.
And so my kind of mantra, if you will, or like kind of like guideline now, is that if the song sounds really, really good when you're completely sober, then some people might like it. Like, you know what I mean? It's gonna translate. So yeah, there you go. Well, glad you're on the other side of that.
Thanks, bro.
It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. Like, do you like drink at all anymore, or like have a beer every now and then?
No, I used to kind of. So I fully stopped kind of I don't know how to describe it. I'm also really conscious. I never want to sound like I'm like preaching to people of like, you should live in this way or do this thing, because I think it's just so dependent and circumstantial on the person.
For sure, yeah.
But for me personally, I just then, because I'm so sensitive to it, it would just be, I'd have a beer and I'd be like, whoa, I can feel that like losing control feeling, and it just, that reminds me of a different time that, I don't need it. And so
that's fair.
For me, it's, I meditate a lot. I think that's been my way of still feeling like I can shift my state.
Right.
And actually realizing, I'm sure you've realized this too, that you can shift your state consciously without any other thing, just by doing something different.
Yeah. It's tough, and I think people who kind of like start taking up meditating at first, it's quite disheartening, because it takes some practice to really like continuously pull yourself back to the moment and not let your thoughts all like, so it's tough, but it's definitely very beneficial. I recommend people trying it. But
same, for sure.
But on the song front, I mean, like, people ask me, like, how do you write a song? And I'm like, I've never really talked to any other musician about it either. But I'm like,
Okay.
for me, it's like I hear something. I'll like hear something, literally like a melody or
Yeah.
like a lyric. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. That could be something. But it's
Yeah.
usually like I don't have anything without some sort of melodic hook
Yeah.
or a melody. So like, how do you? What's your kind of like? Have you seen a consistency in how you write a song, or is it always different? Or like, what do you do? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's such an interesting thing because it's
it's weird, isn't it? Because you're like pulling
yeah.
something from nothing,
Yeah.
like a muse or
Yeah.
whatever. Like,
Yeah, it's honestly, I think that I think that there's part of it that is that you maybe craft and you know what to do and moving things around and but I think so much of it is just for me I still don't really understand how how it happens.
right?
It just kind of happens. It'll be I can maybe sit down and write a song intentionally and be like
Yeah.
this is and it would still be good and nice to listen to, but every song that I've ever made that has felt meaningful, it's this, yeah, same as what you described. You kind of hear something, or
Hmm.
it just feels like I have no choice, but to. It almost, yeah, it feels like it's coming from some other. I've heard so many analogies of like people talk about like fishing or like you're an antenna and you're just kind of receiving
Right.
these things that are
Right.
floating
Yeah.
through the sky, and it feels more like that. I don't know if it's because you're just in a very different state when you're
Right.
doing that, but it's the best feeling when, like, I'm sure you experienced it too. It's just incredible when it's just like it's just flowing
Flowing. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's like whoa,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
you're just like catching it, and you're almost like the listener as well in a
Right.
way. You're kind of like experiencing it too, and you're like, whoa, this is amazing. This is like what a cool song. And it's like, wait, was this me? I guess
Yeah.
it was me. Maybe.
Exactly. Exactly. I tend to not really feel like I can almost take credit for songs that
I
I've
feel the
written
same. Yeah, I feel the
because
same.
it's like, when I'm looking back on the songs once they're made, and then you're listening to it, the more time goes by, you're like, how the fuck did we write that song? Like,
Yeah,
didn't even know. It's not that they're
yeah,
like amazing songs or anything like that, and I think it's subjective anyway. But I mean,
yeah, of
it's
course,
just
yeah.
weird that you managed to make it when you're looking back in retrospect. It's
It
such a
is
weird
weird.
thing.
Yeah, it's
It's
crazy.
addictive.
Yeah, it is addictive. Yeah, it's a good addiction. I think it's a
Yeah,
productive addiction.
yeah,
Apart from
exactly.
sometimes when I'll get songs that arrive at the worst possible situation or the worst time, or like when I've
Yes,
planned to do loads of other
exactly.
stuff, and I'm suddenly just like, this is a great song. Hang on, boom, 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 and suddenly the whole day's gone. You just written a song.
Oh well, I admire
It's
that.
still a good day. Yeah.
That's crazy. That never. I got to be honest. I don't have that kind of discipline. Sometimes I'm like, oh man, the best stuff comes to me like as I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah, I've got that
Do you
too.
get that?
Yeah, I've got
It's
that
like,
too.
but what are you the kind of person that just ups and like, I'm gonna get this down?
So, uh, no. So for me, occasionally, so there's a song that I released last year called "Real or Fake" that came to me in a
Mm,
dream, and that was literally I
really?
woke up. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and I woke up from the dream, and I was like, I'd literally dreamt that I was at a gig. I dreamt the whole, and the song was playing, and I had most of the words, and I just woke up. I was like, this is a really good song, and so I recorded. I have it on my phone. Yeah, I just recorded the whole thing. Maybe it's on here, but yeah, I get that sometimes. But then more often it's like I'll get home from like a something that I've been doing, and it'll be like quite late already,
Wow.
and I'll be like, oh, I could start working on this song, and then I'll just end up working on the song,
Right.
and then it will become like three or four in the morning, and it's like I should definitely sleep. You know?
Yeah, but
Maybe that's a good idea.
for some reason, the deprivation can sometimes, you can tap into
Yeah.
different stuff, can't you?
Oh my gosh, definitely. The one I played you earlier
Yeah.
was literally yeah, that's a sleep deprivation song. Most of it's been written at
Wow.
like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Like the Freedom one.
Yeah, the
Yeah, yeah,
Freedom
yeah,
Way. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Amazing
I
song
think this
coming
is
soon, by the way, by Luca Mo. But we can't disclose it. Where did you get that phone from as well? Because Luca's kindly let us use his phone as a camera, and then you have another.
I've basically kept my old phone because I saw actually Ray did this. She was talking about it in an interview where she has one phone that's her content phone, and one
Oh,
phone
really?
that's her like day-to-day phone. So
Cool.
she doesn't get addicted to like scrolling as much.
Oh,
Because
okay. So literally just for business only kind of thing.
yeah,
Oh, wow, that's
yeah, yeah.
genius.
So this is my content phone. I was gonna play. It go off all your tears and I don't know what that part didn't make it. The chorus is like, are you straight or are you okay? Got to learn the what if they learn the other? This goes on for a long time.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Knowing what the song is now, hearing like those little bits that you hadn't quite solidified and that I've got the same kind of things on my voice notes. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's funny. It is fun to, yeah. I should go back through voice notes. Yeah, I'm sure you got the same. There's just so many. I think my voice notes app like hates me a little bit now as well because I'll press record and it just won't. I've got like a new phone, but it still won't. I have to press it like 5 times before it accepts me to record.
You broke voice notes.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, I don't know how many I've got, but I mean, yeah, without voice notes and notes on my phone, I don't know what I would do because, I mean, like you're a little bit more musical and like technically able than I am. I'm more like more of like a deep thinker, and I'm sort of like Michael Jackson, where you know how he literally just sings everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
everything's hums and all that kind of thing. Yeah, I'm not Michael Jackson at all, but that's more like my approach.
Yeah.
I get it down, and luckily I work with a guy who manages to kind of materialize it a bit more, and that which is sometimes I like get a bit down thinking like, why didn't I pursue playing more? But for some reason it's just not something you know what I mean? It's more like songwriting to me.
Yeah, I feel like you follow whatever you
know,
you feel drawn to. Like I think that that's very sweet and kind of you to say, but I don't feel like I'm by any means particularly virtuosic at any instruments. I think I feel grateful that I've had teachers who have been able to like really inspire me with certain things.
Right.
Teachers who have kind of pushed me, and I went through like a phase when I was younger being obsessed with jazz, and that kind of pushed me to try and understand the piano. But I'm barely like, compared to some of these jazz people. I think that's the nice thing with music as well, is maybe some people are like competitive or think that it's about like someone being better than or more proficient or whatever technically, but you can't really look at music in that way, because I think that it's not about that one. You could get someone who's one of the greatest musicians and plays this incredible technical thing, and you could get somebody else who plays 3 chords and sings an emotional lyric, and one person will feel way more from that, one person will feel way more from that.
Totally agree.
It's totally, it's the same with all music. Even you could win an award for a song or have millions of people listening to it, and you could have somebody else who's won no awards and barely anyone listens to it. You still can't say that person's better than or winning in some way, I don't think.
No, you're absolutely right. It's crazy. Did you watch the Grammys?
Yeah, for the first time. I've never watched the full Grammys, but I watched the full one.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is kind of reflected with like Lola Young with what's the tune? Sorry,
Messi.
Yeah, it's just yeah, exactly. It's just crazy what people resonate with, and you don't really get to choose what is a great song or not until you've given it away. Yeah, for real. It's just weird how there's so many different types of amazing songs. They're all individual. It's crazy. But what do you think about AI now? I did want to touch on this with you because I'm going to be honest. I use it as a tool.
Yeah.
But we were saying about this earlier, weren't we? Where it's
you're talking about Yeah.
You can just throw in a prompt and it will generate the whole song.
Yeah. So
But
yeah.
not
Oh, just it. I don't know. I'm in two minds about it. I don't use it for anything creative, but it's
right.
really difficult to know how to draw the line. I think that what I said to you before kind of makes me sometimes get down about AI is that I'm like, I've spent literally like thousands of hours like to be able to, make a song where I can play everything on it, mix it, master it, and it's all me. That's so many hours. Um, and
Mm,
so I and that's fine, because obviously it's not about that. It's not about how much time, or that doesn't make it better than, or like I just said. But
yeah.
I don't like the idea of somebody listening to my song. I'm thinking, oh, that sounds like, someone being like, maybe he just did that in 3 minutes with AI. I don't know if anyone does. I hope no one thinks
No,
that.
I know it is a weird one, man. Like I don't really know. I think maybe because it's not been in our lives for that long.
Yeah.
But like I was kind of saying to you earlier, for anyone who I don't want to dishearten anyone from using it as a creative tool in some ways, because it's like the people that we haven't collaborated with. It's like having another person in the room sometimes, just throwing an idea out there, like even if you're
Yeah.
on ChatGPT just trying to look for lyrics or something.
Mm.
And I'm not gonna lie, it comes out with mostly stuff that you're not gonna
Yeah.
just like take and be like, it's perfect.
Yeah.
But if you're musically creative and you kind of like know how to take little bits as inspiration, or little melodies, because I think it doesn't really still understand the human element.
Have you
It's
seen
never going to understand it
Have
really.
you seen that interview with Will I Am where he's talking
No.
about it? He's quite. I would recommend checking out his views on it, because I think that he's obviously like super knowledgeable about
Right.
all of this stuff, and the way he talks about it gives me a lot of hope about the future with music, because yeah, I think he's kind of describing what you said. It's a tool. I think that we can collaborate. It can be used in conjunction with
Right.
music if you want to. I use AI. I'm not like anti AI. I use it for like life stuff. Like, can you tell me where's a good restaurant, or can you like create a schedule for me to like plan my day? Or I use it for stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, of course.
I don't know. I don't know why I'm not like against it. I prefer the feeling for me of being like, this came from my brain.
Yeah.
But then anyway, there's so many other variables that it doesn't necessarily. Yeah, I think if we look at it black and white, I think the example I heard Will I Am use was sampling, when sampling came through. And,
Right.
if you were a jazz musician in the 60s, and, you were listening to hip hop that was using sampling of, jazz records, they might be like, well, this is kind of like stealing my music, oh my God. But then, but then,
Yes.
hip hop had its own thing, and it was, it was so unique, and it was this whole, beautiful, unique thing, even though
Right.
it was taking. So I think music has always, done that. I think that what will happen is people will start to value live more, I think, and people
Right.
will start to, because we crave human. I think that what draws us to music is the fact that also we know it's come from someone's life, that it's, like you listen to Adele and it's like, this is about her. I don't know Adele's life, but you can
Right.
listen to me. Like, this sounds like, she's
You
been
can
through
feel it.
something.
Yeah.
You can feel, yeah,
You
you
can
can
feel
feel
it.
it. And I think that you're never going to get that from. It's
No.
even just the knowledge of like that. If I knew that song, you might feel it, but then yeah, my favorite artists, I know that it was about their experience of life, and so yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. I'm
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
optimistic. I'm an optimist about lots of most things. So.
Yeah, I think it'll have its place, but I mean, if you're a creative person and your life force is creating anything, then it kind of defeats the object by depending on AI to be creative for you. Because otherwise, that seems like someone's just trying to bash out songs to make money, or a different motive rather than it's part of them.
Yeah,
So yeah, I
totally agree.
totally agree. I totally agree. But what was I going to say? yeah, no, it's just interesting. It's just interesting what
Mm.
people are doing with technology.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think the next 3 years we're gonna see a shift like we've never seen before in what's going on. I don't think people are necessarily like fully prepared for what the rate of progression, like even
Yeah,
if you look in
it's
the
mad.
last 3 years, but it's exponential. So it's gonna continue to,
Yeah,
we're gonna see. I mean, there's gonna be job, like a lot of job displacement. There's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a wild time that we're gonna see. In 10 years' time, it's gonna be so different still.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. It's
it's kind
mad.
of exciting though, in a way, like this time to be alive. I think that it's
It is.
definitely there's definitely a lot of issues in the world and things that need to be addressed. But I think that, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like watching the Grammys, you mentioned the Grammys, like I felt a lot of hope from it, because it felt like people were the people who I look up to, and music in general is it's always been a force of, like, you know uh how do I phrase this? So it's always been a force of creating freedom in the world, and
Yeah.
encouraging people to, essentially just believe love is the way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like Harry Belafonte, Harry Belafonte was like a musician, but he was also huge in like the civil rights movement next to Martin Luther King and things like that. And he
Cool.
says like a speech, which is amazing hearing it in
Yeah.
like a political environment. Like no
Mm.
one says this kind of stuff in politics anymore, but he's literally like, music is so powerful, it
Oh, really?
reveals a society to itself. And
Oh,
like,
cool.
I was like, that's so
I need to
cool,
check
man. Like,
that out.
why aren't people saying this still? It's
Yeah.
like, it really gave like music this validation rather than just this kind of like, it's not a job kind of thing, But it's a
Yeah.
very important,
I
it plays
think it's
such an
so.
important role.
Yeah, I think it's so important in people's lives, and every person I've met, like, has music in their life in some way. And I think that, I mean, what would the world? Oh my gosh, it makes me. Imagine the
Yes.
world without music. Woof.
I know, man. It would be awful. Do you know though? The thing is that I took a break from music for like
Yes.
2-3 years, probably,
Yes, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
like maybe longer. And that was an amazing experience. That if I could take nothing else from it, I'm like, I actually felt like part of me was missing. I was much more depressed. And
Really.
maybe it's not like everybody is like that. Maybe that's just music in particular is like my life force, whatever. But I yeah, it was so weird because I used to feel like I was faking it all the time, and like everyone else was a musician and I was just someone trying to be a
Oh yeah, you
musician.
feel like that all the time.
Right, right. But hey, man, if you stopped it for long enough, you'd actually realize, oh, okay, maybe this is actually something I need, and it's part of me.
Yeah.
You probably don't have
Yeah.
to lose it to realize that, but
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah,
it's
no, you're right.
weird, man. But
Mm.
yeah. So no, it's interesting. There was one thing I wanted to ask you about. I will edit this out. Don't worry.
Oh, this is great. You're very good at this, by the way. You're
Oh,
very
thanks,
you
man.
listen a lot, and you take it to really interesting places.
Yeah, it's weird. I hope I haven't felt like I've like dominated the conversation too much
Oh
or
my
like I've
god, no,
spoken
no,
too
no.
much. Sorry.
It's just nice to have a conversation about some meaningful
Yeah,
things.
definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
that's
But I
cool.
mean, yeah. Again, I urge people to just check you out, listen to your music because I love that it's very conscious, has a lot of beautiful messages, and it's like music used for its best purpose, and that is,
Thanks, I
you know,
appreciate that.
sharing mutual kind of experiences and helping people relate and essentially like healing in a way
Thanks, man.
through music.
I appreciate that. I think that, in a way, I mean, I don't know if I how much of that was conscious. I think it was I needed to make this to heal myself. I
Yeah,
think,
yeah, yeah,
and
for
so the
sure.
healing is, it's like the music is healing me in a way. And I think that, yeah,
First and
definitely,
foremost,
I
yeah.
like to also, I think it's nice to have, some of the art you mentioned, like Michael Jackson, and there's some, the Beatles are another one, and artists who like have this messaging in their music that
Yeah,
was like it's like it's about love. I just think it's all about love at the
It's
end of the
all
day.
about love, man. It's all about love. Like, it all sounds like really cliche, but I always wind up coming back to that message. I'm just like, the only thing really is just loving people.
Yeah.
Because I fall back into the judging, I fall back into the assuming, or
Yeah.
stuff like that. But
Yeah. No, that's it. I think that I also think like the biggest thing I'm realizing is that your capacity and ability to be able to love someone else or others is so dependent on your love for yourself. Like when I was talking to you earlier about that period where I kind of felt like I was losing myself a little bit, and I was getting really, I had like quite a intense suicidal moment where.
Oh man, sorry about that.
Oh man, no. So I'm kind of grateful for it now in a way, because it kind of was like a turning point for me.
Yeah.
Where was I? What was I saying? I've forgotten what I was saying. Where was I going with that?
We were saying about.
It's because I dropped the suicide.
No. It was What were we saying? Sorry. I snapped straight to that, and I was like, shit, man.
It'll come to me. Oh, I remember now. I remember what I was saying. Yeah. So I think the reason I reached that kind of ultimate low point. Well, I'll backtrack. I think that because we don't have the self-love sometimes. We just don't have the capacity to be able to love other people in the way that we want to.
Right.
And I think that one of the biggest things that made me feel so down about everything was that even though I was surrounded by, people were really nice to me and saying loving things to me, and there were people there, but I just couldn't feel like I was actually able to give to those people.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like, my family and maybe this was mixed with like addiction and things like that too.
Right.
It just felt like this mess where it was like, I don't really like myself. At this time, I really did not like myself. I don't really think that I'm very good at much.
Yeah.
And that was what caused me to reach that ultimate low. I remember I was at this wedding, because I sing at weddings.
Yeah, I do.
And I remember finishing this wedding. This was like 2022, and just the whole time just feeling this weird juxtaposition of everyone so happy and everyone smiling, and me just like comparing myself, judging myself,
right.
Just not enjoying it at all, just feeling like a loser basically.
Totally get it, man.
It was awful. And I remember running. I sprinted from the wedding, ran up this hill that was like behind the wedding, because it was in like the middle of nowhere basically. And I just remember like just crying. And
really? Oh my god.
Yeah, it was like in some ways it was terrible, because it was like I remember just looking at the prospect of suicide and being like, just really being like, is that the way? I remember I had to really, really look at it. Ooh, it's quite, it's pretty emotional. But I think that, honestly, man, I look at that time as a real blessing in disguise in a way, because it forced me to come out of that and be like, I'm not gonna, I love life too much. I love people too much to allow I need to sort this out. I need to work this out. I need to work out how to love myself. I need to work out how to be okay in myself so that I can give to other people. I didn't feel like I was, and maybe I was still giving to other people, but I didn't feel connected to the fact that I was giving to other people. And when you don't have that, it's like, there's just, life just becomes it's really challenging. And so there's a lot of that in the album. I think, I'm singing about certain things around that.
Great.
But it forced me to just reach out to people and learn and try and, understand. And it's an ongoing journey, but thank God I'm not anywhere near there, and I haven't been there since that time. And it just forced me to have to learn, how do I like myself? How do I have a trust in myself that if I walk into a room of strangers, I have something to offer them? I have something. Every person has something that we can offer them. And how can I be that without the insecurities overwhelming. I still have insecurities. I still experience anxiety.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
how do I not let that make me just become, a mute in the corner who can't contribute?
Sure. I guess it's like the biggest battle, isn't it? It's like you against you, and it's
Yeah.
just not as straightforward as great as you are. I think you are. Other people think you are. It's not as straightforward as getting validation from other
No.
people and them just being, "You're great, man," and then you're, I guess, well, thanks. I guess I'm amazing. It
Yeah.
means nothing if you don't have that relationship with yourself. So, like,
Yeah.
what's your uh, attitude? Like, what do you do for yourself now? What do you say to yourself now? And what's your relationships with yourself like now? Is it better now?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's much better. I think one of the biggest things that made me so emotional towards the end of last year and this whole, like launch show that I told you about, the
Mm-hmm.
process of gradually releasing the album, was that I felt this experience of like, in a way, I've kind of come full circle from where I was when I left school, where I had
Amazing.
this, full feeling of confidence and
Great.
like, I could activate it in any moment, to discovering, wait, how do I be that around strangers or people I don't know, or and then going through seeing a lot of suffering, people I know suffering and love suffering, and myself, eventually getting
Yeah,
to
yeah.
that point, and then I feel like I was, yeah, like forced to come back round and find it in a new way. So even though I'm, it feels full circle, it's also like I don't feel like this. I feel totally different because of that journey,
Cool.
over the last 7 years. Um, that didn't kind of answer your question, but
No, no,
I
no.
guess to answer your question, I think that I have certain things that I just know I have to do to stay happy, to stay sane, to stay content.
Yeah,
And I think that it's just about monitoring my energy mainly. And I think that there's like a snowballing effect that you experience over time. So I would just say, if anyone is listening who has like been through that or is going through that, I think that the biggest thing is like you've got to just believe that there is a way out of that,
yeah.
and that life is like very much worth living. You're still challenges. Everyone's gonna have challenges. Like we all have challenges, but I think that's, you have to believe that first, and then I think just seeking out the right people who can actually,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, like there, I did therapy and I still speak to my
Yeah,
therapist, every couple of months, and I would really recommend doing that.
that's huge.
I
Yeah,
think it's amazing. But even, your friends can be therapists too if you, open up. I remember I just wasn't speaking to anybody about what I
right.
was going through really, and so when I finally kind of shared with people like, I'm going through this, it was like you realize people actually care. Um,
Sure.
so now I'm not. I would say that I have my people who I can go to, who I can be on that level with, of like, listen, bro, like everything is not okay right now. Like
Right,
I'm not
right.
doing well, and being okay with sharing that and saying that. And it doesn't mean that like I've gone backwards or something's gone wrong. It's okay to have bad days or bad weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
um there's been so much as well, like with just reading a lot more, and like I
Mm.
mentioned, meditating. I like quadrupled how much I was meditating after that time, and I think that's been that's changed my whole life.
What kind of meditation do you do? Because there's a few different ones, isn't there?
Yeah, so I
Like,
do something called transcendental meditation,
okay,
which, yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I would say, yeah, you could, any kind, I think, is really good.
okay,
But the best thing with this is it's 20 minutes twice a day. So you do 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening. And
cool,
it's just, there's so much freedom in that practice, and you have a teacher who kind of guides you through it as well.
nice, nice.
Yeah, I would change, it literally changed my,
Transcendental meditation.
yeah,
Awesome,
yeah, yeah.
awesome, man. That's wicked. But I mean, I guess we'll like wrap it up shortly. But one thing I also wanted to ask as well, just as something that maybe you can help other musicians or artists who are doing anything where they're trying to like plug themselves, but they are push themselves, but they are working independently, and
Yeah.
there's that overwhelming workload, and you're doing things that you didn't sign up for, like you're a content creator, as well as a musician and all these kind of things. You're doing all these things, but you're really inspirational because you're right in the thick of it at the moment, doing it. And I'm someone who's launching and only just getting started and stuff like that. So I guess I'm selfishly also asking for me as well. But it's like, what is that workload and workflow? How is that managed? And because people say all this different shit, basically, I'm going to set it right up for you. Like, you have to post this many times a day or a week, or and you have to do this kind of content. You have to do this. It's like, what? How do you manage it?
Yeah. So yeah, I think that I'm trying to think how to break this down into like a way that's kind of
Yeah,
concise enough to not take too long.
sure, and of course, your circumstances are going to be different from each individual
Yeah, for
has
sure,
different
for
circumstances.
sure.
Some have like other jobs, different things. I
Yeah,
don't know, but like,
yeah.
yeah,
I think so. I think that the biggest, what I think the first thing that we have to think as musicians and believe as musicians is that, and artists, is the biggest blessing for us is that there is social media now. I know it's
mm,
got its problems, but we have the ability to reach literally millions of people from
right,
something in our pocket, just capturing a moment. We can create our own career without needing all of this. There's literally hundreds of artists who are many creators, thousands of creators who are just they've got a whole career, and millions of people who are without needing this huge backing.
yeah,
So that's an incredible gift, and I think that you have to look at it in that way. I think that I understand the frustration that musicians feel of like, oh, I just want to play music all the time, and I just want to, and you can play music all the time, but I think that if you look at any like career as an artist, that 20 years ago they had to do other stuff that they didn't want to do.
yeah,
There wasn't social media, but they had to, there were elements of that job that
sure,
were still really challenging. So I think the mindset is a big thing. But I think that in terms of organizing, um, I think the first thing that I learned and realized through practice, and then also through kind of uh, learning from some people who are very they kind of do this and they know a lot about this, is that it's not just about like the frequency of posts. So if we're
right,
talking about just purely social media, I'll go into like music, which is that's the focus. But I think that just because you mentioned it, like people can get burned out so easily because they think that they need to do like 5 posts a day and all of this da 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 da. But I think that if you're just posting stuff that isn't very good, it's not gonna um, gain traction. So it's more about what is your message, like what value are you adding to people, what is, because you're taking someone's time essentially. Same with the song. I don't think about any of this when I'm creating or writing. When
hmm,
I'm creating and writing, I'm fully just like, how do I feel, how do I create the best thing that I love. And I'm not like in this like other like left brain part of me. I'm just purely like, how do I be creative in this moment. But then because of being an independent artist, obviously you don't necessarily have this big, I've got a team of people who help me, but I don't have like a, you don't have this whole system. And even you look at Ed Sheeran, like he's got a business mind too. He's very much like,
he is a great businessman. Yeah,
yeah, he's really thinking
definitely.
about, I think you have to have that side, because there's a lot of like vipers out there as well in the industry who are gonna you know take some things from you. But I think that, yeah, so have that ability to be business like too. And yeah, when I think about that, I just think fundamentally a business, it kind of makes me like feel ill to even talk about that with music
Yeah,
because music isn't
unfortunately,
about that.
yeah,
But if we want to, musicians should be able to pay the bills too. We should, we shouldn't be struggling or like, suffering to try and,
yeah,
it's possible to have a career in music for, if you work really hard and you put in a lot of time and effort, and you're going to get rewarded for that. But yeah,
yeah.
what value are you adding to people? I think that's the biggest thing I've learned and continuously learning. Like,
Mm,
what is it that's gonna? Why would you invest time in me? Like, why would you stick around as you're scrolling or on Spotify or
Love that.
whatever?
Yeah.
Why would you keep listening?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, also I just sometimes think, man, like, there's so much shit on Instagram or on TikTok. Like, there's so much stuff that that's why I've got this other phone which has it all
Okay,
on. And I
yeah,
can just
right.
throw it there and not have to look at it, because so much
Yeah.
of it isn't adding. It's not benefiting people in any way. It's
Yeah.
just like
Sure.
comparing. Oh, they've got a cool life. Oh, blah.
Or it's a
And
little bit funny, or it's a little bit of a
it just
fad or a
does some.
trend or
Yeah,
something, but it's
yeah,
not really like, yeah, got
exactly.
the depth.
Yeah, but every now and again, I'll see one video and I'll watch it, and I'm sure you have this too, where you're like, you know what, that actually did inspire me in some
Yeah,
way.
right. Yeah. I mean, I don't really like very much, and I don't really save very much, and I don't really share very much. So I feel like if I do, then it's something that's really like resonated with me, and they are kind of few and far between. But man, look, I love what you're about. I love your music. Please check out
Thanks.
Luca Mo. I feel like there's endless stuff that we could talk about, and I hope that we and unfortunately we can't cover it all in one episode, but we should do this again.
Yeah, man, Harry, thank you so much for
It
having
would be
me.
so
Honestly,
cool. It would be so
I really
cool.
do appreciate it, and you're
Pleasure.
like I said, you're very good at this. You're holding a space where I just feel
Oh,
comfortable
cool, man.
to share.
Oh, good.
So
I'm glad.
much. So yeah,
Good,
grateful.
man. Thanks so much for sharing a little bit more about yourself, and let's do this again and go on the journey together. It'll be great.
Yes, my brother.
Look forward to seeing you again soon, man. Thank you so
You too.
much.
Thank you.
Take care, man.